Okay, so welcome to LMS 1515, which is be efficient in myLearning. Should be more efficient in myLearning. Um, we've had DesireLearn Brightspace for a year now, and about this time last year, most of us were doing our initial training in Brightspace. I'm going to go ahead and call it myLearning because that's what we call it, myLearning.
Might as well.
It was all new to us, and it was even new to the people that were in charge of having to do the training for everyone. So we've learned a lot in the last year, and I know that as users, as instructors and everything, you've probably been in there a lot more than I have and dealt with a lot more issues, so you too have also learned a lot. But some of this stuff, obviously, we really didn't talk about in the initial LMS 5010 training because, for one thing, we didn't have time. So these new little courses that we're adding, I think are going to be very beneficial. And they're only going to be an hour long, so just nice little bits of information. So this one, I sort of come up on a whim one day to be more efficient, desire to learn, or be more efficient, I should say, in myLearning. I just wanted to go over some stuff that I've learned here in the past year to hopefully make your workflow a little bit smoother, maybe improve your workflow and decrease the amount of clicks and stuff like that.
There's your PowerPoint.
Excuse me?
I said I got excited. There's your PowerPoint.
The agenda for today is I'm going to go through about 1 to 9 items, depending on how much time we have. When I did this in face-to-face, we sort of ran out of time because people asked a lot of questions. But we're going to talk a little bit about bulk actions feature in myLearning. We're going to talk about some resources for instructors and students. I always like to talk about this because I think it's underutilized, and I want to make sure all the instructors know about that. It has nothing to do with, well, it does have a lot to do with being more efficient in myLearning because you can send students there instead of answering their questions. Also, we're going to do a little bulk actions grade demo, and we're going to do a bulk actions content demo. We're going to do a bulk actions email demo. We're going to talk a little bit about bulk copying content and how to organize your course a little bit better. And hopefully we'll have time to talk about the manage dates tool in myLearning. So all this is really just designed to make your life a little bit easier. And that's one of the neat things about myLearning is it does have these bulk actions feature built into it. It's gonna allow you to hopefully make a lot less clicks, when you're doing everyday workflows. It's also going to simplify common processes and hopefully lead to more efficient workflows, which we all want that. And in the end, ultimately, it'll save you a lot of time. And I think, again, a year ago, we were just trying to stay afloat and survive the transition from Blackboard to myLearning. And now,
you guys did a good job too, by the way. You guys really did a great job.
Yeah, we've probably developed a few bad habits along the way, and it started. I think this is a good time now that summer's coming to start to look at maybe cleaning up our workflow a little bit, making our life a little bit easier. The first thing I wanted to show you, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Hopefully I'm going to do this. Am I sharing the screen?
I see Joel's screen. I do.
Okay, so here I have the let me go ahead and go back to the home page.
Okay.
In myLearning. And here you see on the right hand side we have Instructor Resources. And I do want you guys to know that we do update that on a regular basis. If you see my updated training is May and June. So, you know, we try to consciously keep this updated and keep new content there for the instructors so they'll go and look at it.
I have a quick question, Joel.
Yeah.
And this is just, I wasn't, this is my OCD kicking in. So you notice where it says resources and guides?
Uh-huh.
How come some of them are black and some of them are blue? Because what the blues were kind of making, it felt like the black ones weren't live and the blue ones were.
As far as I know, it's that, and you might want to test this if you have time, but if you click on it, it turns black.
Okay.
So if you've been to that,
that's what my guess was.
if you visited it, then it doesn't
Yeah,
stay
that's what my
blue
guess
anymore.
was, but I didn't, but I was like, but I ignored a couple things because I said that, oh, I don't think that's live, and then, but I put my mouse over it and it
And
lit
that's
up.
HTML, and I didn't really think about that, but I think I might be able to put some code in there to make sure it's always blue.
Okay. It was just my OCD, so I was just a little curious.
So, and I had the same problem. If you notice that there's a lot of resources there now, and we're getting more and more. Eventually, we're going to have to consolidate this down into one link, and it's going to be a little bit more presentable. But I want you to show you also that you have student resources. Now, the students don't see the instructor resources, but as an instructor, you see both the instructor resources and the student resources widget. And so they have all this stuff here.
Nice.
I have all these tutorials. The latest is the latest tutorials that we created for them. This is based on the number of help desk calls that CSN gets and also that Desire to Learn gets, because everybody knows that they have 24/7 chat now. Okay, and we get a record of the chat and all the emails and all the help assistance that Desire to Learn has given the institution last month. So a lot of this is based on the common calls that they get. Actually, probably the most common call that they get is don't see your course because the course hasn't started yet. That seems to be the most common one.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of stuff there for them. I'm going to go ahead and go into a course, and we're going to go over to the grades tool. There's a lot of things we can do in the grades to hopefully make our life a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's very familiar with the intergrades view here by now, I would imagine. Let's say I wanted to go ahead and just grade an assignment or something to that effect for all my students. This is more of like a face-to-face class. Say I had a project in a class or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, well, we'll call it the introduction discussion. And maybe this is done in class or something like that. If I go ahead and click on the little chevron to the right of introduction discussion, click on grade all.
Mm-hmm.
If I scroll down, most of you have already seen this where you can enter the grade, right?
Yeah.
Let's enter the grade. Each, if you have like 15, 20, 30 students, then that gets a little old after a while.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what we're talking about, bulk actions, okay? Up in the left-hand corner, right in front of all these rows here,
Mm-hmm.
I have the bulk actions.
Mm-hmm.
If I click on this little select all rows here and just pretend this is like 30 students or something like that, I can click on grade and get them all the same grade. So I can go ahead and just put 10 in there.
Okay.
And click save, and it pops it up for all the students. Now, if I did have one student that missed it or something like that, I could always go down there and maybe deselect them right here. When I make the initial selection, I can always deselect one if I want to.
Hey, Joel, can I call a quick timeout? I just gotta let my dog out real quick. Sorry. She's 15. She doesn't really announce too early, so she has to go. Right back. Sorry about that.
Okay. So
Have fun on the video. Come on, bud.
hopefully she'll turn her mic down for us. And you also know that you can put feedback in for each student. So say guest student 2, I wanted to write some feedback. I go ahead and type it in here, and I could go down to guest 4. Okay, but what if you wanted just to put a quick comment for everyone, that maybe the 25 or 30 students all at once. So I'm looking at my 3 little students here, and they all had a grade of 10. And I can just go right up here and put overall feedback so everyone sees it. So I can go, good job, to the entire class all at once. And they get this as a comment.
Do you have to have everyone, you don't have to have everyone checked, okay.
Yep, that's a visible to all. Yes, good question.
Okay.
Yeah. So another neat thing while I'm in here, if I go through here and everybody got a 10, and I was so excited that they all got 10 out of 10, and I wanted to let them know right away, I could go ahead and select them all again and click on email. And is my email being shared?
No, it's a black screen.
Okay.
I'm thinking about it. Hold on. Still thinking. Nope, still black screen.
Okay. So let me do a new share.
I see your mouse moving over it though.
Okay, so when I click on email, it wants to compose a new message. And here it already has all the names in there. And notice they're all blind copy.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is another big time saver. If I just want to send them an email real quick, I can do it from the Grade Center, from right where I was grading. Say I just all of a sudden just realized that I needed to send out an email right at that moment. I can do it with these bulk actions here. Of course, if I don't want to give them grades, or if I want to take those grades away, I have the little clear. So I can clear those grades away. What's really neat too is another feature that we have in myLearning is all the way over here to the right, we have the event log. I click on that. And does this show up? Okay, so when I click on this, it'll show me all of the changes that have been made to that student's grade. This is important for a number of reasons. If someone ever breaks into your account or something like that and changes a grade, then you can always go back and revert it back to what it was before, because you'll have a record of that grade and when it was changed. If you have multiple instructors in the course and people are changing, or instructors are changing grades and they shouldn't be, then you have a record. If you want to accuse me or Keisha or Wesley of going in and changing someone's grade, it would be documented here. Okay, this is an event log that we can't change. Nobody can change it. So, and this is also good for grade disputes too, because you might have a student who will come in and say, well, the grade was such and such, but now it's such and such. And then you can always go into the event log and say, well, this is the only records we have.
Good point.
And nobody can change it. The admin can't change it, the instructor can't change it, the student can't change it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to what I printed out my PowerPoint. I can barely see it here. Change, okay. Something else that always baffles a lot of the instructors when they come in to get help with us, and we show them this, and they just go, oh, that's really cool. But one of the things is that they'll come in and they'll say, oh, I don't know why the name's repeated every 3-4 columns.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they'll look at the very beginning of my grade center. I have final calculated grade and final adjusted grade. If you scroll to the end, I have it again. And that can confuse people sometimes. All of that's controlled by this really neat little feature here up in the right-hand corner called Settings. Click on Settings. And right here, I have the number of columns to be displayed before the user details repeat. details being the name. So right now I have it, so every 5 columns, the name repeats. Down here, I have the number of users before the column header repeats. So every 10 users, the column header repeats. That's all that is. So you can change it. You can sort of customize it to the way you want that very easily. And right under it is a repeat final grades. Now, by default, you're always going to, at the beginning of the grade school, you're always going to have calculated final grade, calculated adjusted, or final adjusted grade, sorry. But you can, by default, it's repeated at the end also. And I guess that's just the way they set it up. So you can remove that if you want to. So that's pretty neat, the settings. So let's move on to I just wanted to walk you through the steps. This little demo is I'm going to go into manage grades, and I guess I'm already there. Mysteriously just went there. This is my favorite view here. When someone comes in and they have a problem with a grade book, I don't even look at the end of grades because that's too confusing to me. There's too much going on.
It's just too much to and all at once.
Yeah, I just go right to manage grades, and I can find problems right away. You know, Wes and Keisha the same way. We'll go manage grades, and if some student says, well, I don't see my grade for assignment 2, we'll go right into manage grades and make sure it's associated to the assignment. Sometimes, we forget to make an association because it's just a 2-step process in desire to learn. So we check that out. And right here, I can see that my assignments and quizzes and my discussions are all associated. So that right there, if there was an association there, we know there's a problem. So I have categories here. I have categories of assignments. I have categories of quizzes. I can tell those are categories because they're darker colors. Again, when we come into an instructor's grade book and they're having problems, that's the first thing we look for. Sometimes when we create new, we create a category by mistake and thinking that that's what we can grade with. But category is just a folder for all the items.
Right.
Okay. So I have assignments and I have quizzes. So there's a couple of things we look at. Another thing is the bonus. If the instructor's having problems with the total or the calculated grade not adding up properly. Another thing, we'll go over here and make sure that if they have any bonus items, that they have the little yellow star next to them. If you're not familiar with that, and I'm going to go ahead and cover this now before I forget about it. If I didn't see that little star there, or even if I did see that star there, I would still click on that little chevron to the right and go into edit grade item. And get down here, make sure it's set to bonus. Another thing you have to set, and this is just from experience, in my mind, I just don't understand why it works this way, but you also have to click can exceed. Okay, so if you're going to use bonus, make sure you have can exceed checked also. Because I guess the way Whitespace looks at it is if, they have a perfect score, then if you give them a bonus, they can exceed, I guess. If you are using bonus and you have your bonus in a category, you have to do the same thing there too. I click on the little chevron to the right, click on edit grade item, and I click on can exceed. Likewise.
I did a lot with bonus this past semester, and that was a bit of a learning curve. But,
this is not covered in initial training.
Yeah.
And we also have to do it for final calculated grade and final adjusted grade, right?
No, actually it was good.
Okay, well, I always do it.
I might have that.
Okay.
I have to go back and look.
Yeah, so what I do is, someone has a problem with the bonus points not adding up, and they're telling me this on the phone, Just spending about 5 minutes explaining. I'm going, okay, just let me go in there and look at it. Okay, so the first thing I do is make sure the bonus is a bonus and it can exceed. If it's in the category, I make sure that can exceed. And then I make sure the calculated grade and adjusted grade can exceed, and then it works.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it works.
It's you know, I gotta tell you, it's super helpful having like my demo student in all my courses, because then I can try something out
Right.
and make sure it adds up the way I'm supposed to and stuff like that. Yeah.
So I want to show you the process of, you know, maybe this summer you're going to be designing your course or something like that. I just want to show you a quick way to sort of add multiple items at one time, because you can go in here and you click new item and you click item. You know, it's about 9 to 10 clicks or something like that to create a new item. I'm going to show you a quick way to do it. And you always want to start off with a higher level. You sort of have to think this through first. And so what I'm going to do is you need to create a category first. And what I'm going to have a new assignment or a new assignment in here that's going to be called homework. So I want to create a category for homework. Don't necessarily have to create categories, but they really look good. They organize your data a lot better. All right, grade book. Okay, so that's a
That's the German version of homework.
Homework. There's my homework. And I'm going to go ahead and save and close.
Okay.
I just created a category, that was it, and there it is. Now I'm going to create my items. Create a new item. Make a numeric. This is going to be homework 1. And it's going to be worth 10 points. Okay, maybe I'll change that to 100. Okay, this right here is where you can save a lot of time just by clicking save and new.
Oh, okay.
And it takes me to the next
Maybe you put it under the category.
Oh. Homework 2. You go down here and hit 100 points. Save and new. Okay, so I just repeat this and I get them in really quick. And I'm going to go ahead and save and close this time. So now I've created these 3 new items in here. And I didn't go through that extra drop down of bringing up the category for homework and all that. That's like 3 or 4 extra steps. But when you're in the bulk grades, you have the bulk edit option up here. So let's go ahead, click on, whoops, I'm sorry. I do have to select all rows first and click on bulk edit. This takes me to an area that, you know, if you haven't been here first, it might look a little confusing, but again, it really can save you a lot of money. Like a lot of time. Did I say money?
Time is money. Time is money.
Did I say money? I'm in the process of selling my house right now, so everything's about money. So my max points here, I can quickly go through here and edit any of these if I need to. I can see what's bonus. I can make things extra bonus. I can put in can exceeds in there and stuff like that. All the way over here to the right, I have a category. So the 3 items I put down at the bottom, they're not in the category, so I can just quickly add them to homework. Homework and homework. And I'm done. Now all of my nice little homework assignments are in a category. Now if you don't do this a lot, then you say, well, you probably saved me 2 minutes. Wow. But we have a lot of faculty that come in that say, well, I need this added, I need that added. Sometimes, you know, if I can show them how to do this, it's a lot quicker. If I show them how to do one at a time, it's painful to see them do that over and over again when there's quicker ways to do it. So that's that bulk edit. That bulk edit feature under managed grades is very helpful.
That's nice, yeah. It's a good double check too. You can kind of visually make sure everything's where it's supposed to be.
Yeah. So that's we've covered about 5 items now. I was going to talk about the bonus, but we're going to go ahead and move on to adding content.
Okay. I can get my dog out. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Keep talking.
So in this course right here, I already have some content. And I sort of discovered this the bad way because someone came in and they wanted me to delete a module. And I thought I had the module selected, but I had table of contents selected. And I went over here to the chevron to the right of it and clicked delete. And of course, I didn't read delete all modules, and I deleted all my modules. And it will let you do that. I didn't want to do that at the time. But, and again, some faculty come in and they say, well, I accidentally copied the wrong course or something like that. And I'll say, oh, just take me a second. I'll go in there and I'll delete all modules. One thing, when you are deleting content, you have the option, by default, it says remove modules from the topic without all the associated files and activities. Okay? That is the default. It's probably the safest way to go, but I know with this content I put in there that I want all the topics, all the associated files and activities gone. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. It gives me a little warning side. So if you're sure that you want to delete everything, it's better to go ahead and delete all the content too by selecting the second option. So it just takes a second to delete everything.
So one more time, sorry, Joel. Where did you go to do that?
I just went to table of contents and delete all modules.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
So I'm going to go ahead and show you sort of a quick way to add content. First thing you want to do is go ahead and, again, you think this, you storyboard this in your head ahead of time. I'm going to go ahead and create 3 modules. Module 1. Okay, I just click enter and it takes me to the next one. Module 2, click enter, and click again. Module, you can type better than I can.
It's the French module. We're multi-language today. German grading and French modules.
Well, it's late in the day. So, and I had a chimney sweeps over today, and they told me I need a new insert.
Which is British.
$1,000.
Yeah. Chimney sweeps, that's British. That's out of Mary Poppins? Wasn't that what Dick Van Dyke was?
Yeah, Mary Poppins. It wasn't anything like that.
He didn't dance with little penguins?
I don't know what to call this, but I'm going to call this, that should have been imported module. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one module here, and everybody by now, they know they have this little drag and drop files right here. Mm-hmm. It's really not a super duper time saver if you're just doing one at a time, but if you're doing a lot, I might go ahead and go to my desktop. I probably can't see this, but I'm selecting multiple files. I'm going to drag them in there all at once. So it's doing this. These are just random files. But let's say these were all the files I need for module 1 through 3. I created PowerPoints, I created images, docs, so on and so forth. And obviously this is going to take a while. I should have realized this. So it's importing everything in for me.
Mm-hmm. And then you can go back to the file manager and like organize the files if you like to keep that tidy.
Not even file manager, because we can just, when we finally get all these files imported, they're all going to be listed under my imported module. I can click and drag each one of those files over to the proper module all at once.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I
thought if stuff landed there, in the file manager, it would just end up in the general, that first tier in the file manager.
It does. I personally don't touch my managed files too much.
Okay.
It seemed to be a lot more important when we were in Blackboard.
Yeah.
It's like sort of behind the scenes, and it's a little confusing when you go in there. While this is happening, I think I can get out of this and go to another tool. Hopefully I can. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a few minutes. What I'm doing is I'm importing.
I think it stopped.
Okay, so
Just do 3
I
of
just
them.
learned something. That's great. So if you stop, it's going to stop your import. If you go to a new page.
Just like do your Word files or something.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import just a few smaller files. I had a couple of large ones there.
Yeah.
So you have to wait for these to import. You cannot go to another location. It just doesn't work.
Can I get back on the desktop? Where am I?
These last 3 should not take too long. I don't know what that one image was, APC 34. And obviously this is dependent on your internet, your internet access, but also we are uploaded to the cloud. You have to think of everything that's in Brightspace or in myLearning is in the cloud. So we're not just uploading it to CSM, we're uploading it to wherever those servers are for Brightspace. Okay, so I have a bunch of files here. But once I get them in, then I can just drag them to the proper location. And generally speaking, except for today, would normally be a lot quicker. Then I can just go ahead and click on imported modules, and now I can delete this. Just delete module here. And ask me if I want to remove all the associated files. There's nothing in there, so I don't have to worry about that. And this can take a little bit of time sometimes.
Even with 0 out of 0.
So I want to just, well, see how easy that was to get all those files in there all at once. So if you're building a new course from scratch, build your sort of outline first, modules and everything, and just put everything in one folder and bring it all over at once into one module, go take a coffee break and come back. I want to bring up this, not that. So did I bring in a PowerPoint?
You did in module 1.
Okay, so here's my PowerPoint. This is something else too that was very confusing about a year ago, but it sort of makes sense now. When we would upload PowerPoints and Word and all that stuff, we are to the point now where we're not requiring students to have Microsoft Word or PowerPoint to be able to view the files. They are automatically displayed. So this is a neat thing. So again, another one of the features we liked about Brightspace when we first looked at it is students do not have to have PowerPoint, Microsoft Word to view the instructor's files. So if you put a PowerPoint up there, any student can see it. What happens sometimes, though, and this is one of my drone classes. So down here you have an option to download it. Okay, so I could download it and open it up in my native PowerPoint that I have on my computer. And if you were using a lot of the PowerPoint actions and slide transitions and stuff like that, and you wanted that to work, then you would have to view it through PowerPoint. But there's also an option here. It says view as text. Think of this as your ADA button. Okay, so if you had an ADA person who was viewing this from a screen reader, if they switched to the text view, and it would tell them to switch to the text view if they were using a screen.
Unless you had images, though, that needed to be displayed.
Well, that's just something you have to think about, because is the text on my PowerPoint providing enough information without the image?
Right.
So this is sort of a nice little ADA thing you can do for yourself too, is go through your PowerPoint and say, well, maybe I need to explain things a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Another problem we had too with both instructors and students is they would click on that, not realizing what it is, and then come back later. And anytime you go out of it and go back into it, if you change it to text, it'll stay that way.
Defaults back, yeah.
And they'll say, well, what happened to all my images and everything? They disappeared. You just have to go down here, change a viewer's page. It switches back to where it was. All right, so well, that was neat. Let's go back to another bulk action. That was sort of not really being more efficient in myLearning, but just sort of some things we've discovered over the last year.
Mm-hmm.
The email tool has definitely been a problem for both faculty and students, and it will continue to be a problem until one day that we might have like real, .edu email to college, which doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah.
I think the email, it's getting to be a little bit easier because we've dealt with it for a year and we know how to get around it. But let me show you something really neat here. If you go to the class list, under My Tools, go to class list, scroll down, and I have a list of all my students. And say I wanted to send everyone an email in my class, I can go to that bulk action tool again, which is go over here and select all rows, and I can click on email.
Yeah. You can do that from grades too.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I sort of showed you at the very beginning. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So here you go. It already pre-fills all my students, and I know that it's my students in that class. Okay, because for one thing, it'll go ahead and give me pre-text right there, which is nice. And then I can go ahead and write my message, and it's going to go to all my students. And if I need to deselect some of the students, I can easily do that. I don't have to go into the address book. I don't have to go to select CC, BC, and to, and all that stuff, that we always forget to do. This is a really quick and easy way to send out an email message. Now, when you get responses back from them, and they reply or whatever, they're going to have that subject in there, so you're going to know what class it is. Initially, when we rolled this out, that did not pre-fill there. And it was very confusing. We had a lot of faculty that were, having issues not being able to tell who the email was from. Now we go ahead and pre-fill it in there. So it's already there. You might still have students that might delete it or whatever, and you might have a hard time trying to figure out what class we're in. But so we made the default a little bit better now. Okay, so let's see. We're getting to the end here. Let's see. Oh, if you've had a problem finding third-party apps, stuff like that, if you click on Upload and Create, notice you don't see my math lab or my Pearson lab or Zoom or anything like that. Those are all located under existing activities. And you notice I have my lab there. We have NBC Learn. We have Wiley Plus. And if you still can't find it there, you got to go a little deeper by going into external learning tools. And this brings up a few more. This brings up Magnet Campus, McGraw Hill, My Progress, NBC Learn, Zoom Meeting is there. I wish this was a little bit easier, but all of our third-party apps don't necessarily communicate the same way with Brightspace as we'd like them to. So they're sort of all over the place. If you have McGraw Hill, notice McGraw Hill wasn't there. You have to go into Course Admin and go to the Course Builder. Click on Course Builder and Cengage. And McGraw Hill Cengage is located there. That's the only way you can load it. If you've never used Course Builder before, you might want to just check it out sometime, look at it. We did not roll this out in initial training because we thought this was too confusing. Another part that we didn't think was necessary for the instructors to know. But we had to roll it out strictly just for Cengage myLearning because this is the only way we can interact with that third party. But it's out there for everybody if you want to go look at it. It's a lot different look and feel. I sort of look at it as another way to add content. That's basically what it is. All right, that's third party. So hopefully, I do have a couple of minutes. Have you used the Manage Dates tool?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I'll just do a real quick demo. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but the Manage Dates tool is very can really cut down on your workflow and obviously simplify common processes that we do every semester, which is change the dates of assignments, discussions, and stuff like that. They do have a tool built in. They'll easily do that. And I'm in a course here that I actually stole from another instructor, so hopefully they're not on here today. But if I go into Course Admin, I have, under Site Resources, I have the Manage Date tool right here. If I click on this, it's very confusing at first. If I look at it, it's just, oh my goodness, this is just overwhelming. But if you use the filter options, you can really make your life a lot easier. Let's just say that I want to just change maybe the dates on all of my tests and quizzes. So I'll just go to specific tools and I'll select just tests and quizzes, and I'll go ahead and apply that filter. And only the tests and quizzes that are in this course pop up. It makes it a little bit easier for me. All of these have end dates that are current. You notice that they're all like within the semester. Let's say for some reason that the semester started a week late, and I'd already put these dates in, and it's like, darn, man, now I'm gonna have to go back and change the dates on all these. Well, you can actually do it by selecting all items, and these are just tests and quizzes in this case. I can go ahead and offset items, or offset dates, I should say. And I have a couple options here. I can go ahead and just select both the start and end date, and I can move everything, say, 4 days forward. Now, if you look at this first one here, notice it says July 8th. Let's see what happens when I click everything, move everything forward. So the end date's now 7/12. Now this is really super duper cool. You can do this all at once for all of your activities in the course, start dates and end dates. The problem is it does not work with due date.
It doesn't work with what?
Due date.
Oh.
So if you have a due date, you still have to go back and manually change that.
You know, I don't really use due dates because the end date, I don't know, due dates just didn't seem like it was clicking with students. End date.
And Brightspace doesn't believe in due dates either. That's why all the features that they build are on start date and end date. Hopefully they'll make that change someday, but if you're not using due dates, this works great. Okay, so that was just quick. So don't be afraid to go in there and play around with the Manage Dates tool. Because you can maybe just filter it just to do certain items. You don't have to do everything in the course all at once. All right, so I have 7 minutes. So I did want to talk about copy, the course copy, but I think everybody pretty much knows how to do that. I think what's more important right now is talking about how to organize your courses a little bit better. So
actually, I've had some trouble with copying components.
Okay.
So like just taking the quizzes over from one exam to another, or I'm sorry, from one course shell to another. Is that appropriate to do here?
Yeah, let's go ahead and go into my sandbox. And I'm going to go ahead and go through the routine of copying just an individual item. Say we have a quiz or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go ahead and go to the import-export. I go ahead and search for the course I want to import from. Let's see if I can find something here. Oh, I have to click the little magnifying glass there. My course will come up. I'll go ahead and select it, add selected, and this is where you have to slow down. Okay, because if I were to go down there to that nice pretty blue item, I copied the entire course in.
Which I've done before.
I would have a mess. So you really have to pay attention right here because all I want to do is just import one quiz. I don't want to import the entire course, so I just want to click on Select Components. I'm going to go ahead and click on Select Components. And this is what's really neat about myLearning is it brings up everything that's in that course that you're copying from. So I can go through and I can see that there are a couple quizzes.
Yeah. Do I need to click on Question Library too? Maybe that's what I did wrong.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's probably what I did wrong.
So in this situation, I'm going to go ahead and
excuse me.
Click on quizzes. If I check on quizzes right now, it's going to go ahead and bring in all the quizzes. But I don't want to do that. I just want to click individual items copy. Now I have to go down one more level, hit continue, and I always make sure I know what I'm doing here.
Right.
Mess up. Hit continue. And then it's going to go ahead and give me this little area where I can expand to see all the quizzes I have. There's only 2 quizzes in this course. I click course quiz, hit continue, and it's going to bring that quiz in.
Okay.
Now, Donna, you had a question. Well, why am I having problems? Okay, go ahead and bring in the question pool also to be safe. It does not bring in, let me go look at my custom quizzes, and you see here's the course quiz. It brought in the course quiz. But if I go to grades, and manage grades, it's not there. You still
Yeah.
have to bring in that grade item when you do your import or create the grade item again.
Okay. I'll try that because I'm going from my live course to my master. I'm building my master with things that I like from semester to semester. And yeah, I'll give that a try.
Okay, so the last thing here is, you fine with that?
Yeah, thanks.
Hopefully that'll work. And let me know if it doesn't.
Okay.
So for longest time, I mean, I've always just used the select course because I have a lot more courses than most people. I have probably 5,000 courses. So I always just say, what is the course? And I type in, 14275, and it just pops up for me. Okay. Then when I have courses I use all the time, I'll pin them. And when I pin it, this is the pen over here on the right-hand side. It's like a regular pen you would put in a bulletin board.
Right.
If I have a course that I do want to pop up on top all the time, and that's what all these are, is courses that will always display. I can go ahead and just click on it. And the next time I log in and go up here to select a course, it's always going to stay there. It's not going to move. And likewise, if I want to get rid of a course that I'm not teaching anymore, I can go ahead and click on the pen and deselect it, and it'll disappear. So what I've been doing is, you notice I only teach 2 courses here. Well, actually 3 courses. I don't know why my third one's not there. I always just have my latest course up on the top. And then from one semester to another, I try to remove the other ones so I don't have so many courses up there.
Right.
So I found that a lot of the faculty go down here to the My Courses view. I saw someone do that the other day, and it looked a little different than this. It said by role as an instructor student, and it had a list of 50 courses. And I thought that really looked confusing. Well, I didn't realize that was an issue until I saw it from the instructor point of view. But now we changed it. So if you go down and use this My Courses widget, you can select which semester you want to view. So let's say I just want to select I'll go to fall 2016. Click Update. It's only going to show me my fall courses. For some reason, I don't have it. Trust me, it works for you guys. And we didn't even know about this until just recently. So we fixed it. So now what I suggest is you go ahead and select the current semester. When you go down here, it's always going to pop up right here, your current semester courses. Now mine does look different because I have the last 10 access courses. You will not have that unless you have over 100 courses. And that's probably going to happen because full credit load, and we turn off semesters about every 2.5 years. So you're going to have 2.5 years worth of semesters in there. So you might get to 100. So all of a sudden it's going to pop up and it's going to ask you to search for courses.
Okay.
It always gives you the last 10 accessed.
Oh, cool. That's great.
Yeah, until then, you're going to have that nice little convenient, select the semester and display by semester.
That's great.
So hopefully that'll help. We didn't know that was an issue until someone brought it to our attention. Which is...
Is that always the case? Is this a good time to bring something up?
Sure.
I actually set aside, I'm going to take a look at the new format for myLearning, the new look and feel.
Right.
They have a 1-hour webinar that you can look at any time.
Right. We will not be going to the new experience.
For a year, at least.
Yeah. Yes, the decision was made that we will not do any major GUI interface changes to myLearning until next summer at least.
Yeah.
But
I just want to take a look.
I'm glad you brought that up because
Okay.
we have monthly continuous updates with myLearning. So every month they update myLearning. So if there's something important, I usually put it under Instructor Resources. But you can always go check yourself by going to the myLearning community, and it's called continuous delivery because that's what we have is continuous delivery.
Okay.
So we have an update every month. And if you remember, Donna, that since you instructor math, they updated the math.
Yeah.
The math interface under the math editor or whatever.
Yeah, the equation editor.
To just look at that for me because you're sort of the expert on that. So that was something they did. So that what they do is they take our concerns and our issues, and then they roll it out on a monthly basis instead of how we used to do with Blackboard, like once every, like between semesters and once a year or whatever. All of a sudden we'd have this big update.
Right.
So it's been last year. There's been a lot of updates in the background that some of them I have told you about and some I haven't. And you just sort of stumbled on them, and all of a sudden you realize, wow, this is neat.
Yeah. I'm excited for the new look and feel because I like a lot of I like myLearning quite a bit more than I do like Blackboard, but at the same time the clunkiness of it is the look and feel.
Right.
So I'm excited to see if they what improvements they make with that. So, but I'll be patient.
Yep, and that's all in the Brightspace community. Which, if you go to the myLearn homepage under Help, you can go right to the Brightspace community and continuous delivery, and that's where all that information is kept.
Yeah. Hey, the other thing too, for the first time, I use the 24/7 help quite a bit. Well, I use it regularly. And for the first time, I couldn't get through today. I tried for about an hour and a half.
Really?
Yeah, they said that they were busy and then just send an email instead, which was unusual.
When did you do that?
This morning. I tried between 7 and 9. I tried 3 times.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I haven't heard of too many problems with the help, and that's unfortunate.
Other than it's a little on the slow side when we're actually talking, I'm very pleased with it, and I've been directing students there. But I do tell them be patient. It takes them a couple of minutes to get back to you, and yada yada yada. But they're very polite because they're Canadian.
Well, for the sake of everybody who's going to listen to this recorded version, now that you're going to be famous, Donna, if you do watch the recorded version, let us know. Send an email to me, and I'll go ahead and put you in professional development colleague as completing with the training. As for everybody who attended this training live, I'll go ahead and update your transcripts indicating that you attended the session.
All right, thank you.
No further questions. I'm going to end the meeting.
Yeah.
And obviously, you can get a hold of us and yell out anytime if you have questions.
Thanks, Joel.
Bye.
Bye.